Subscribe, please.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's your favorite Gimp with a Limp, and I am here finally back with the next part of Thunder in the East by Frank Chadwick. I do want to apologize. It has been a little while since I've been able to get back to this game. That's just simply due to the fact I got sick, and you guys really don't want me filming when I'm sick. I get real nasally and all that. I'm almost completely over it now, though, so I do apologize that held me up. But we are ready to get back at this. We had left off with the end of the German phase where they were attacking. They completed their attacks. And for the completion of their turn, we still have to finish out their regular movement phase and some buildup of units and a little bit of cleanup, stuff like that. And then I'll finish out the second turn for the Germans. If you don't want to hear me comment on the game for a few minutes, go ahead and skip ahead just a couple minutes. I do want to point out a couple of things I do like about the game that I've noticed. I want to take this time to just talk about the game for a sec because this is, I think, like my 9th video on it, and give you guys just a few thoughts of my experiences with it and, general quick little review. One thing that I noticed is that, I hadn't been hands-on with it in about a week, maybe a touch over, and this game was easy enough to come back to and jump right back into it. I took a sec and glanced at a couple of things in the rules reference, which I do appreciate that they have rules reference, so I can take and thumb through it real quick, refresh myself. The game is not so big and so daunting as to not be able to jump back into it. So if you're playing this with a buddy, for example, and you guys can only get together once a week or once every couple of weeks and play through a couple of turns, it's completely easy enough to play the game without feeling like you have to relearn all the rules before you jump right back into it. Take a quick 5 minutes, refresh yourself on a couple of things, eyeball whatever phase you guys are in, just check a quick basics of the rules reference, and you should be able to just jump right back into the game. I do like that about it. Now, I have to reinforce that that's me commenting on the basic game, because again, I am not including the special rules or the campaign rules at the moment. The extended, larger, meatier, chromier version of the game, which I'm sure is excellent with as much fun as I've been having with just the base set itself. I'm sure all that extra chrome would be just, more meat and potatoes on the table. So just take that for what it's worth. The game's fun. I am definitely loving it. Anyone who's on the fence about it, I absolutely recommend it, especially if you're into the Eastern Front of World War II. If this is your niche, what you're into, you'll definitely love it. For me, again, you guys know I'm a Pacific theater guy. The whole Marine thing, I got to support my Marine Corps. That's just my area of expertise that I really love. But I like all the aspects of World War II, so this is right up my alley as well. All right, but that's enough ranting by me. Let's get back into the movement phase, which isn't going to start with movement. We're going to start with some reorganization recovery stuff. Again, we're looking at our game sequence here. We completed all of this. Now we come back. Oh, and one thing I wanted to point out is when I did capture the city down over here, that is a specific Victory Hex supply city. So you do need to make sure and put one of those countdown markers on it when you take and capture something like that. I had forgotten to do that. So I went ahead and put that on there. That'll be counting down. So cities like that, on map supply hex cities, do not automatically switch over to being German controlled. There is a countdown involved before they're going to be available for use by the Germans. You do have to keep that in mind as you're pushing up. And in fact, the Germans are getting a little long in the tooth. I'm getting ready to have to move up a headquarters unit to try to push supply out. This city will be a great extension for that, but it's going to be a few turns before that's available. And I'm kind of thinking, and actually that leads me into the part that we are on the turn, which is the reorganization recovery. So you can take care of your real markers, which we haven't used. I don't have anyone who's interdicted from enemy area units, and build up your stacked ground units. I wish there was regular movement and then build up, but it's build up and then regular movement. So you can't take and stack your units after a battle. I've been keeping the smaller German units, the infantry units, kind of separate to kind of focus the line out across the board, right? Not to get myself too pinned in, and was using my armor as like my punch. Well, as I was looking at it, I had another stack of these 12.96, but the only other counter I have that is one of these 24.16 fives, all right? So the biggest, toughest counters is a SS unit, which is a black unit, and I don't think the regular units can group up to become an SS unit. I just don't think that's allowed. I would think that it would have to be two SS 12.96 counters to group together to become, you know, the massive SS 24.16 counter. So these guys aren't going to be able to beef up. So I knew I was going to need some more banded together units. So I did grab out some stacks of infantry counters that can be built up, because I've got a few across the board that are stacked together. All these 4.64s and 6.4 units, they can stack together to create bigger units. The 6.4, if you have two 6.4s, they can bunch together into a 12-10-3. So their movement goes down. You do lose a little movement, which is to be expected, but you bundle that attack into one hex, which is superb. And if you have a 4.64 infantry unit and a 6.4 unit, you can band that together into a 10-3. So a little bit less attack. Both of these have 10 on defense. Yeah, if I'm gonna drop it, yeah, let me pick them up. Yeah. Both of these have 10 on attack, or 10 on defense rather, but one does have 12 on the attack. So let's take and throw these out where they're gonna go. Where did I have it? I think there was one up here. Because like I said, I was trying to cover the line, but I'm gonna need some more punch, all right? I just don't have, I don't think, enough to keep punching holes directly into their line. This should be one, yep. Okay, so we have two 6.4s there that are gonna get replaced with this bunched up army unit, army-sized unit. And I think this is a 6.4, 4.6. Yep. Okay, so we're going to pull that one off. And we're going to replace that with this. Give us some punch here in the center, which kind of all my punch is in the center right now. And remember, what I'm doing right now goes to the change box, all right? This is not force pull shit stuff that I'm dealing with. This is change box stuff, all right? I think I've got another 6.4 group here. Let's take and put that 12-10 in its place. And one thing that I did kind of notice is before I started filming, I took a moment to try to touch up some of my counters just as I've been playing. They'd gotten a touch off. I'm still noticing a few that aren't in perfect hexes. And that's just going to happen as you play. I mean, anyone who's played a war game like this understands that stuff like that happens. Just make sure and touch up your counters every now and then. All right, so we got that one, that one, that one, that one. I think I've got one more. Where did I have that last one? Those are those. Okay, it was down here where it was. Pull this off. And this is another 10-3 that's going to be going down here. Hopefully provide a little more punch. But that gets it to where I've got a little more focus on these army units or these infantry units. And it doesn't, I mean, you can see there's a whole stack of counters here that have been taken off, all these core-sized units that are no longer spread out. So I've focused the force. I don't think I'm going to build up too much more than that, because if I start doing that, it's going to be really hard to cover the line, I do believe. We'll have to see how it pans out. I do have some units that I've bought or have been damaged that I'm going to have to repair and are following order of battle steps, like here and here. There's another one up here, I think. Yep. The mountain guys who did real good, because I'm going to shoot these mountain guys straight up that line and just start busting Russian units right off the mountain between Russia and Hungary. But I think other than that, we can continue to try to push forward. I'm worried about supply going forward. My headquarters aren't doing their attack mode thing anymore, because the card I used on the last bit, or the last phase. So their supply lines are a little bit farther, but they're not too much farther than about where we're getting to. So I am going to have to hold up and kind of reinforce the line as I'm pushing forward to try to get supply met back up. I mean, this one is key for me right now because it's put down to supply radius, all in this direction. But I can't get too much farther than this before I'm going to start running into supply issues. And I'm really going to have to move up a headquarters unit and let it get up here somewhere to cover my units as they leapfrog up. But the thing is that I just don't think there's enough turns in the game to do this strategically as you're moving through. Because, I mean, the end goal is Moscow, way the hell out there. I mean, we're not going to get anywhere near Moscow. Again, is the end goal. But I just don't think there's enough time to get there. I mean, even if I just pell-mell the tanks over there, they might get there. But I just don't think it'll work. Anyway, okay. Enough rambling from me. Let's see where I'm going to move my units. Now, remember, this is regular movement phase, so I'm not restricted like I am in the special movement phase, and I still have to pay attention to enemy zones of control, because if I move into it, I am stopping my move unless it's a heavy unit like the Panzers. They are not going to be stopped by infantry. But I need to put my units together. I need to be able to focus some of these attacks to burn out some of this defense, because they got this big defense up here that they got going on. All right, let's look top. I want to try to maybe bunch in some of these units. Where is this one? Is that in that hex? Yeah. Okay, that one's in that hex. I want to try to take out this 8-4 that's bunched into my lines. So I might give it another turn and let all this smack that down. But, because he has a line right here to a weakened sector, so I need to defend that. Okay, if we move this one up, that'll help reinforce there. And if I go 1, 2, 3, that would defend up there. And we can pull the rest of this over here. So go 1, 2, 3. Again, probably not the best strategies, but we're doing what we can. And this guy's wounded up in this top section. Where can we put him? Again, I want to take and focus some of these attacks. Go 1, 2. Leave it there. Exert some zones of control. And start working on pinning in these guys here. I'm leaving this one here to just exert a zone of control and kind of cover my back end from any Russian units trying to make this end run around the backside. Small little covering force. Man, all these counters are just a little bit off from all the playing I've been doing. I'm nudging them all back into the right hexes. All right, these guys can't move. This guy's going to be attacking up here. This guy's going to be attacking up here. So they've got a big line going on. If I pull one over here to help cover for this guards unit, this Soviet guards unit, these others, I can maybe bunch them up as well and condense down the line. Okay, let's see where these guys go before I make a choice for the center, because I don't want to push too far forward, because you guys see I'm kind of getting a bulge going on here. If we take and move these up, do we have anyone in the city itself? No one's in the city. I can move this heavy panzer around, but I don't want to move my heavy panzers in a place to where they can surround them. And that's my worry about that, because there are these mobile units back over here. This one could step over and do that. So if I move this guy up 1, 2, he would be there. I mean, it'd be 3, 4 because this is, or 1, 2, 3 because that is 2 movement points to move into that woods. And, or if I just move this up, 1, 2, mountain and terrain, put those guys there, that exerts a zone of control, but he can still move. But he couldn't move. Well, no, he's mobile, so he would be able to move. I'm still wanting to move him up anyway. Let's go 1, 2, 3, put him there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where we gotta go? 1, 2. I need another 6-4 unit, because I want another 6-4 to come over here so I can have another bunched up. I was thinking I could combine those guys, but maybe not. There's so many choices. I'm probably going to split up these panzers into a couple of different directions. If he goes 1, 2... If I could send the panzers over there, and that would cover one of these panzer group, and the other could come through here, and then those guys could meet up. Okay, yeah, so let's do that instead. Move these guys back here. Yeah, so if I go with the panzers, 1, 2, 3, 4 there, then this other panzer can move up to put that. So now I'm guarding around over here, this acquired terrain, and now I've got 2 sets of infantry units that I can bunch up together to improve. So if this guy goes, we'll move this one up. And this one can go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. These guys can build up, and these guys can move into the city. Yes, 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 Gimpy. That's how you're going to do it. I'll just leave this sitting next to the city so we will understand that that's controlling that. Okay, so now we've reinforced our lines all the way across here. I like having these panzers here to keep these guys from doing an end run around me. Part of my reason of not moving these guys, though, is I don't want to move them there and give the Soviets a chance to come here, 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 all around the backside and cause this group issues, because this is my strongest unit on the southern flank. And if they take that down, the southern flank can have issues, and I know I'm going to have air issues because I'm playing the Soviets, and I know I'm coming in with air power on the next turn. So I'm keeping him a little farther back, trying to avoid issues. So we've got this. We can go after him on the next one, depending on what attacks they try to make. We've got the city reinforced. This is just a blocker just to hold the line. These guys can build up. I've got 2 built up infantries. Now we can decide what we're going to do here in the center. He's there. I want to get these units stacked up to where they can build up as well. This one needs to be reinforced. If this goes 1, 2, 1, 2, he can go there. And these guys can move into the woods. So, okay, yeah, we're going to do that. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. They're going to go there. Combine their forces. These guys go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. They can go there and they can build up. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this one will go there. And that one will go there. And this one will move up here. 1, 2. And I do believe that's all my moves. I don't think I've moved anything twice. I do hope I haven't. If I have, I'm sure you guys will let me know down in the comments if I have. But I do think that will cover it. That gives me a chance to rebuild that unit where it's kind of safed up. And now I've got a lot of 6-4s and 4-6-4 units stacked up in the right positions to where, depending on how the flow of the battle plays out, I can take and either build them up together into more of these 12-10-3s or the 10-3s, just depending on what happens, or send them out in separate directions. But they're bunched up to where I've got a big line going. And you guys, I'm actually really proud of this. Look at this. We had a lot of success here in the center. What city is that? Biasstock. Blystock. I don't know, something like that. Blystock right here, there in the center. But we pushed through that, and we got this victory hex down here. So we've made good progress punching out a little hole here, because we started off all along this yellow line, right? This is where Barbarossa campaign began for the German units. So we've pushed up all these hexes here in the first couple of turns, which actually isn't too bad. The biggest success is here, where we really made good grounds right here. And I mean, it's obvious to see because there's 2 big panzer units right there that just went smashing through. The area where we haven't had a whole lot of success is up here in the northern sector, trying to push forward. They're pretty much still on the line. They got pushed back in. Actually, are they on the line or did he push in? No, he's still up against the line. I think they'd made a small bit of progress and then they ended up getting pushed back. But there's still a good chunk of Soviet units ready to take and push them back. So these guys might end up doing a holding pattern. Ooh, and the good part is now I've got this guards unit. They might be isolated because I've got 2 zones of control here. Yeah, they're isolated with these movements now. So they are weakened. That's good. And none of none of this German guys should be isolated. Ooh, and I do have to make some moves with the Hungarians. Let me take and move them up as well because they can start doing something. I haven't even been worrying about these little SOBs. Let me look real quick. Hold on. Gimpy, cut this up. Yeah, these mountains, they're 2 only for mountain units. They're 3 for everyone else. So pretty much everyone else is just going to be able to do 1 movement. So we'll move this one down, move this one up. I'm not going to waste money on the Hungarian units. They're crap. I'll just leave them there. I say money, but resource points on those guys. I'm not going to worry about them. And I don't think we're going to worry about anything over there. But we are going to start activating some combat down over here on the southern side with the Romanian units. I need to start doing something with those guys. So we'll probably start that on the next German turn. But where they're located for now, they're still pretty good. So I don't have to worry about moving them. All right, but I think that's going to cover us for our movement phase. I think I've got everybody where I want them. And don't have to worry about that. Move our units. They may voluntarily break down. Now we're worried about building up, what we've been doing. So now we are set to start our second Soviet turn, which you can expect them to take and try to come back holding the line. They've got a few bigger units back along here that are going to be moving up, trying to help hold back the offensive, which appears to be forming primarily right here. There is another victory hex right here that should be my next goal. And is this one a victory? Yep, there is a victory hex up here as well. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to that one. I mean, I'll get to it eventually, but it's just this area is moving so slow. It's getting so bogged down. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't have any heavy panzers in this area. Maybe I could cut off this 1 panzer unit and have them, instead of pushing forward, push north right here along this line to help cut into the Soviet defenses. Because if I do that and then kind of swing these guys around to push into this pocket of resistance, then if I do a lot of damage here on some of the following turns, I could almost do a sweeping envelopment action, because if a good chunk of this gets taken out, then these units can pull around to the backside over here, and at that point, that'd be game. They'd just be, the Soviets would be crushed if German units got back along this line. Damn, actually, now that I'm thinking of it, as the Soviet player, I might actually pull these guys back off the line, because I know what the German player is doing now. I'll tell you, that's the one downfall about playing it solo, is that you know what your opponent is up to. But the good part is I have a brain injury, so I'll forget my strategy by the next time I'm playing the Soviets anyway. All right, sorry. I know I've been rambling a little bit, but like I said, I love this game. Just the strategy, the counter strategy, back and forth. And if you're honest with yourself, and I try to be, nobody's completely unbiased. You'll favor one side or another, but I kind of almost want the game to play itself out just in front of me. As I move the pieces, I want it to just kind of play itself and see what happens. That's my goal anyway when I'm playing these things solitaire. All right, but that's going to be it. We're going to pick up with the start of the second Soviet turn on the next video. We'll see how they handle this major German offensive they're dealing with. All right, that's going to be it for me. You guys take care. I'll catch you in the next one.